Hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. This is the second video. If you are watching this video for the first time, there is a first video that you need to watch, and then this will be the second video. So it is important to watch the first video before you watch this video. So in this episode, we are going to discuss about the opcodes, which is the core part of BRM. Though there are so many topics that BRM covers, we will try to hit the target, which is the opcodes. The main core subject is here. So this is where most of the work relies. So it is very critical. First, you need to learn this core topic, core subject, and then crack an interview, and then you need to get into a job. Later on, you can go through the documentation and learn all the topics surrounded by this. So most of the work that will be there in BRM is surrounded by the opcodes, customization of the opcodes. You need to write some C programs and those things, those kind of things. So first, in this particular episode 2, we will try to cover and we will try to see what are all those opcodes and so on. So in the first video, we discussed about the types of opcodes, base, system, policy, and custom opcodes. We'll try to see how we can access those opcodes. Go to Google and then type Oracle BRM 12 documentation. Then you will click the first link. Scroll down a little bit. Under developer, you have opcode guide. So click on that, click on the HTML, and you will be able to see the opcode reference. So these are the important opcodes provided by the by BRM. So what is a base opcode, what is a custom opcode, and on and so on. So base opcodes are out of the box opcodes. So when we say out of the box, that means it is built within the product. You will not be able to see the source code of the out of the box opcode, uh, but we can use that opcode to do something else. So it is important to know about that. So base opcodes are nothing but PCMOP, create OBJ, and all those things. So those opcodes are being used in all other opcodes actually. So so the so let's look at this document, and then you see here there is something called base opcodes. If you click on that, it will show all these opcodes. So every opcode does a certain activity. For example, PCMOP create OBJ. So it is going to accept this input, and then it is going to create the output. So basically, this opcode is going to store, or it is going to insert a new row into the database. So at the database level, this is what it does, this opcode does, but we really don't need to write a code, some saying create insert into table fields and then values and so on. So you will never use SQL or SQL commands in the coding of BRM. So that is something that you will need to remember. I will show you the some of the opcodes, how it will be used and so on. So this is the opcode guide. You just need to type this URL, bookmark it, so that you can next time when you try to refer this document, it will be handy. And then we will go to the opcode descriptions. Of course, you know how to arrive to this place. Once you search for Oracle BRM 12 documentation, you will land in this page, and then scroll down a little bit, go to the opcode guide. Yeah, opcode guide. or storable class reference. In this case, since we already have the opcode reference here in this document, we will open the storable class reference. So I'm going to close this one. So this is the storable class reference, and this is the opcode guide. It is important to know both of these. So storable classes are nothing but the database tables. So each important database table is divided into an object. So if you know about the sparse arrays in C programming, you will know this data structure, how it works. So these are all nothing but the sparse arrays in C programming. Let's take a look. For example, account. Account is the important object that is used across the like wherever you need to store some account related information, we will need to go to this object. So click on this account, and then you will be able to see on the right hand side what this object represents, right? So you have the type and you have the field name. So BRM has its own types, data types. So there are plenty. One is POID. POID stands for Portal Object Identification Number, timestamp, string. So string and integer, enum, these are all data types that you will see in the C programming as well. So, but there is a difference. Oracle BRM created their own data types. They defined their own data types. So we should always use these data types whenever you are programming, when you are trying to program anything in BRM. We need to use these data types. We will see those how to code the opcodes in practically in the next videos. In this particular video, we are mainly going to discuss about the defaults, implementation defaults of Oracle BRM, so that this will help us in while preparing the code, while writing the code for BRM. So let us scroll down a little bit here. So once you're done with reading all these fields, values, and so on, there will be something interesting at the bottom. I'll show you. So this account object will have multiple tables. So if you see here SQL mapping, this is important to understand. So account object, which is here, is divided into multiple tables. So the main class and the subclasses basically. So main table and the subtables both are linked by a POID value. So like a primary and foreign key kind of concept in the database. But when it comes to the Oracle BRM's object structure, it is designed like this. So account object is having account underscore T database table. This is a table in the database that I will show you. So it is also having account exemptions T, account internal nodes buffer, account name info, where the name, address, and all those things for the customer will be stored. Account phones, it will contain the phone numbers and contact details, zip code, and all those things. So these are all the tables that account object holds. That means the object is the same. I mean, object is one, but it can have any number of sub tables, sub objects. So account T is the main table, and these are all subtables. So how the naming convention followed here in Oracle is slash account is the name of the object. There will be no underscore T and all, but when it comes to the table, there will be object name underscore T nothing but table. So object name underscore T will be the table name. Always this is the naming convention that BRM follows for all the objects what they have. So there are plenty of objects that you can see on the left hand side. It is important to learn about the basic and important objects that will be used on a day-to-day basis. Slowly and eventually you will learn about the remaining database objects as well. So how these tables are linked? So account key is the main table, column is the POID underscore ID 0, that is the column name. This is the primary key, and this is linked with obj ID of the other tables. So though it is not mentioned here, I will show you in the database when we connect to the VM. There will be obj ID here for all these subtables. So that is how a main table is linked with the subtables. So when we store some information under the main table, it is not mandatory that there should be some information on the subtables. Okay, so it is, if the customer is having phone numbers that need to be stored, so then the information will be stored in this subtable. Otherwise, it will be blank for that particular record of the customer. So that is the basic SQL mapping for all the objects. So we can create a new database object as well based on the requirement that is part of the customization. We will discuss that again later, since today we are mainly going to focus about the database objects and the opcodes. So let's go back to the VM. So in the VM I have already stopped the listener. I'm going to start it. Uh, that the command is lsnrctl space start. So listener control. LSNR stands for listener. CTL stands for control. Listener control space start. So that is the command that we need to use to start the database. We did this in the video 1 as well. So the database is started. You need to see the last two statements out of this command. That means listener supports no services, but the command completed successfully. Now let us open another terminal. In this terminal, let's go to the pin user. This is the command, and then try to connect to the database. This is I gave a wrong username, so you need to give the username correctly. Pin 10 slash internet or CL. Okay, the database is connected. You can see that the schema is pin 10. Now let's try to retrieve the POID of one customer. So select POID from account T table where row number less than or equal to 2. So I'm just trying to show you how the data is stored across multiple tables, but it represents the same object. So first we'll get this POID. So let's say for this POID, we'll try to see how this data is stored in the other tables. Um, so let's come back to this again and see account exemptions table if it is having any data here. Let's go to the VM, select star from, paste it. Okay, that is account underscore exemptions underscore t, where obj id. So POID underscore id 0, it is the primary key in the main table. Obj id is the foreign key in that subtables. All subtables will have obj underscore id as the foreign key. So let's take a look at this POID id value 30907. no rows. There are no rows for this sub table. So it is not mandatory to have data in all the subtables. So that is what we discussed earlier. Let's take a look at another subtable of account. So what we are trying to look at right now is the account details for a particular account. We are not trying to look at all the accounts in the database. We are focusing on one particular customer account, and I'm trying to show it only the account details of that particular account in all the database tables related to the account object. Only one object we are looking at, that is account object. So account is the main table, account exemptions is the second table. Let's take a look at account name info table. This is where the name, address, and other details will be there. Let's take a look at this. 309074. So if you see here, there are values for this particular account. Uh, Set heading off. We'll try to do the same command again. Select star from account name info t where obj id 0 is equal to 309074. So you see here there is the obj id, and then different values for each and every column, like the email address, the country, the state, first name and last name, address, and all those things. So that is how an account object is linked. So let's take a look at another subtable again. Account phones t table. Let's say where obj id 0 equal to 309074. It remains the same. Obj ID will remain the same in all the subtables. So that is what I'm trying to show you here. So no row selected. That means no phone numbers are stored for this customer in this table. So it is not mandatory to have the data in all the subtables. So that is what I tried to show. So there are other tables as well, like that we saw earlier for the account. We are not going to look into all those internal nodes and all those things. Right, so let's go back here. So this is the data that we saw in the account table. Again, let me show from the account t table, which is the base table, main table, or the base table we can call it, where POID ID equals to 309074. So the main account is having the details like this. There is an account number as well. So the account number is something like this, and these are the remaining details of the customer account. 840 is the currency code. So account T will be like this, and then account phones T will be, our account name info will have these details. Now we will try to see how this object is represented in BRM. If we try to get these details from the database in BRM, how it will look like. Let us try to see that. I'm quitting this SQL Plus, going to test, and then we need to check every time we are connecting to the test snap. Test snap is the utility. I will explain a little bit about the test snap utility again, but just remember that we are going to use the test snap. We are going to use the test snap for many of the things. So you can see all the commands that I'm typing here related to the test snap. We are in the test folder. I'm now checking whether CM is up and running or not. It is not running. So let's just try to do a stop all, and then start underscore all is the command. The CM and DM is about to start. Now let us try to check the same process command. PS nothing but process. So we are checking whether this process is up or not. CM is up. Let us try to connect to test map. Okay. So click, type the command test map, then press enter. So ROBJ is one command within testnap where we will be able to see the details of an object. So let me show you the documentation related to the so go to Google again, Oracle BRM 12 testnap. So this will take us to the directly to the testnap utility related information. So what we are trying to do now is reading an object and fields. So as you can see here, ROBJ is the command that I'm going to use to read one particular account and show how it will look like in BRM. So ROBJ hyphen $DB slash account is the account objects reference 309075 that we have used earlier to fetch the details. 309074 actually, yeah, 309074. So this is the command that you need to enter to read the object details. ROBJ hyphen DB slash account slash 309074. So now click enter. You can see all the details related to this particular account object. So previously when we tried to query, we queried this account name info table, and the same you can see here as well. Pin field name info is the sparse array, is an array, and it holds these details. So when it comes to the database, it is the same information is divided into two different tables, but when it comes to the object, all the details of one particular account, one particular object will be under the same object. It is stored under the same object. So it is not divided internally. Internally, it will not be divided, but then here you will be able to see it as one object and one data source. So we discussed earlier that the data stored in BRM will be like the parameter name and the value. So the first how to read these details is, let's take a look at this particular one that I'm highlighting. 0 means it is at the top level. This is not an array, or this is not a it's a timestamp. That is the data type. So this is the name of the field, and this is the value. So Thursday, January 2nd, 2014 uh, is the value of this particular field. 0 represents it is at the top level. Let's take a look at this. For example, this 0 name info is an array. So array contains again fields and values within the array. So 1 means it is one level inside the uh, top row. So here the main row or the top row is the name info, which is an array. This one means one level under this name info. This is under the name info. That is the one stands for. If an array can contain another array, and another array can contain another array, and so on. So how to know whether it is an array or not is the data field, I mean data type mentioned here. So this is how an object is stored. In the database, it is divided into multiple tables, though it belongs to the same object. But when it comes to the BRM's data types, it will be under the same object as one particular data storage. So, so actually, when we try to do ROBJ, what happens within BRM is basically BRMs. We discussed about the four-tier architecture. So CM sends the command to the DM. DM converts that command into the SQL format. based on the database that we are using. And then again, DM sends that information back to CM. CM represents back to us in this format. So if you want to see what CM sent to DM and then what DM does, we will be able to see all those in the log files of CM and DM. So these log files plays crucial roles here. These log files are very important, and then because each and every activity that a developer does, I mean, it will be captured in the log. If you are seeing some errors, or if you are expecting, like if you are not seeing something that you are looking for, then the log file is the first place that we need to refer, that we need to look into. So let's go to the var. Var is the command that you need to type. It will take us to this folder. Then type cdcm vicm dot pinlog is the uh, log file for the CM. So if you go here, try to see what exactly it does related to the 30907, and then it sends some information related to this account to the DM, and then DM sends this information back. So let me try to clean up this log, and then we will try to capture fresh from the beginning. Go to the test, type test map. Again, copy that command earlier that we used. You can just highlight that and click copy and paste here, enter. So that we got the result. Let me open another terminal so that it will be easy for us to traverse between the log file and the test map. Pin10 go to var cdcm vicm dot pinlog. So the account number is 309074. uh, um, sys cdcm. Let's try to see what is the log level set for CM. I will again in another video I will discuss about the pin conf for the CM. CM is at log level 3. So CM sends some information to the DM, and then DM try to get those details. So cd DM underscore Oracle is the Oracle's DM's log file location. Okay, I copy this and paste it. So the DM, if we want to enable the DM log level to an to a higher level, then how do we do it? Is basically we need to edit the DM spin conf a little bit, and then we will be able to see. Let me do that. So go to sys cddm underscore oracle vipin.conf. All the changes that you make sure that you will save it, because when you shut down the VM you may lose some of the data. So it's important to save the information always. So here I'm going to, at the end of the file, better to keep it at the end of the file. DM dm underscore debug 0xff. That is the first thing. Again dm underscore debug 2 0xffa. That is the second, and the third is dm underscore debug 3 uh, and 0 0xff 4f's total. So, and that's it. Then save it. Next, stop everything, because every time we make a change to the configuration, we need to stop the processes and then start it again. So that's what we need to do. Uh, so so this is stopped. Let me start it again. Now go to the log folder, clear the logs if there are any. I'm clearing up the old log. Okay, now the logs are clear. Let's go back to the test map, run the same operation, which is rbj. So just copy this, paste it, enter. We got the results here. Go to the log, look at the log, see what has been populated in this this pin log file. So so 30907 is the one that we have tried to look into. Uh, select let's try to see account. So in this in this log, it will not display the values because the values will be binded. It will show the queries, so you can see what DM is requesting from the database. So the first thing is, let me go to the beginning, select for account underscore T. So it started here. So it first tried to fetch the account details. Select all these things from account table, where POID ID is equal to colon 1 is the bind variable. So the bind variables, that means account numbers or the POID values that we try, it will not be displayed. And then what is the second query that it is trying to query from the database is, the next one is, you can see here, let me try to get it, account account name info table, or let me directly try to, yeah. So this is the second query. It is trying to fetch all these details where I am highlighting, where objid equal to colon 1. Colon 1 again is the point that we try to use. So this is the second table that it is trying to fetch the details from. So similarly, there will be other tables as well, like account phones table. So these are the direct commands, SQL commands. Though we didn't use any command in this previous screen, I just used this to get the account details. So CM sends this request to DM, and then DM converts the request of CM into these kind of queries. So we really don't need to write any queries. So that is how the BRM's uh, flow works, the CM and DM flow. We really don't need to write any SQL queries as such for any kind of operation. It can be create, read, update, or delete. For any kind of SQL operations, we don't directly use the SQL commands. Um, in the next video, we will learn about the search template. Let's say here in this case, I directly used one of the utilities provided by TestNav to get the details of an account because I have the POID value of the account. But let's say I have only the first name or the last name. Then how I can fetch, or if I have the email, based on the email ID, how I can fetch the details of an account. So for that, we will use something called search template. In the next video, we will look into the search templates. We will build the search templates. We will execute it using the test map. So that means we will execute the opcodes related to the search within BRM and then fetch the details and display. So these details are important before we try to build any new opcode while we try to uh, modify an existing policy opcode or create a new opcode. These details are very important. That's why we discussed these details today. So in the next episode, we will be discussing search templates, and after that, in the next upcoming episode, we are going to discuss about writing a new opcode for BRM. That means the core topic, the core thing. How do you write the code to do something within BRM, which is the most important topic. Okay. Thank you. See you again in the next episode. Thank you so much.